kissing made me feel love. Then she caught my eyes. I could sense it from across the floor.
It's so funny that the computer just told me that it was restarted because of a problem. And that's the end all and be all, I guess, of the message. I need more details. It's just, we already got into, go listen to the tech episode. I just can't. So today we're going to get into it early. There will be no distractions, dismay, or dick measuring today. The episode is called Breaking the Law. Say it with me. The law. Yesterday, someone took me out on a date. Her name is the Maven. The Maven. From here on out, her name is the Maven. I don't know if it was a date, actually. It might have been something different. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. But the food was John Blaze. And it was over here in the corner, right off my little walking route. And I was over here just being like, I didn't even know that this spot existed. And it was so peaceful. It was a barbecue spot. And I'm talking about that one kind of barbecue. You know what the realest barbecue in the world is. Don't get it twisted, Texas. So the Maven took me out. And honestly, it was a blessing. I mean, I've been on unemployment and I need more money. And I'm out of it until more comes. It sucks. I mean, it's just too much. Like, I really do need a job. And I'm going to get one now on my time. Right? It's crazy how long I've actually survived this without going to the mill. I mean, it's hard every day to not have something to do. And I remember this started last year, and then I became homeless, and I just went into a whole nother realm of like, what am I going to do with my time? But it looks like I stumbled across something kind of cool. So we go from dinner to a show, and it was just so cool. Like, it was this white guy who had a fan on stage. He had really long hair, and he was just giving straight up sexuality. Oh, the Maven loved it. And so did everybody else. And then I was sitting over there being like, well, get it how you live. I can't wait until I get back on stage. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Let me hear a clap. So we proceed to drink some wine, and the wine was trash. So the Maven woke up today and was like, hey, how are you feeling? And I don't feel really well. Like, we don't need to be drinking that type of wine anymore. I was like, yeah, you're right. How are you doing? And then she was like, I'm good. How are you doing? And I was like, I'm fine. And she was like, what are you thinking about? And I was like, you know what it is I'm thinking about? The Maven. I need a freaking job. So I need to do something about that. And there was a pause. And then the Maven was like, well, you know, that restaurant that we went to last night is hiring. And I said, oh, what? Okay, cool. Yeah. I don't know about getting back into the service industry. It's the potential to break the law is very high in that industry. We'll get into that in a second. So I'm like, yeah, awesome. I would love to consider that. And she was like, I know the owner. And I was like, what? And she said, yeah, I'll set up a meeting in an hour. Go ahead and meet him up at the blah, blah spot. Don't be late. And I was like, oh, yeah, the Maven. I don't really know if that works out for my timeline right now. I'm working on other things. I was kind of planning to chill. And, I really don't. And she said, is there a problem? I said, what? She said, is there a problem? What is not clear about this? I was like, I'll see y'all in an hour. Ooh, she knows how to punk me. And something about me likes it. Ugh. So I get there and I get into the conversation with the owner. I think he might not be the owner. He's like one of the owners, but it doesn't matter. And we get into a conversation about the law. Say it with me again. The law. Running a venue or a restaurant is so hard, especially when you have to pay attention to the law. So what we saw during the pandemic, specifically up north, shout out to you all, was a complete and utter transgression of the law. There were private parties and private things that were going on. The liquor laws mattered not, let's be honest. And that's how people survived in the last year. Had people really paid attention to the law, we could really be considering a much more detrimental situation. But that's for another time. So they were up there getting the Costco liquor and bringing it to the private spaces and selling it for like a 500% markup, which is John Blaze. Like, that's John Blaze. Now, the law knows. So, this is public information. It's not like I'm snitching. It's just, everybody knows about this. But at the end of the day, when the law had other shit to do, some of these girls was out here making a coin. And they were having a good time doing it. And I wonder how that translates now that we're back open. Now, I'm not trying to rip nobody. I know this is a common thought that's happening right now. And I talked with the owner and he agrees. Like, everybody's kind of thinking about this. I did kind of get this concept from another podcast that I really love listening to, which has also broken the law by slandering. But I think what is happening is everyone's now trying to figure out, okay, where do we go from here with the law? See, I like the law. And I think specifically over the next 6 months, post-pandemic, the law is really going to be like kind of crucial to just keep everything as controlled as possible. That said, I hate the law. And you know why? It's not about the content of the law. It's about them boys. See, what the boys do, no matter what your transgression was, get into the fact that the pandemic gave transgression girls. And the law couldn't keep up because you know why? Because the law is human. It's conceptualized by humans. It is enforced by humans. And it's obeyed by humans. But when the boys get involved, let me tell you a couple stories about every single time the boys have gotten involved with me, because they're just doing their job, okay? They're just doing their job, but their job is really obnoxious. And so when I don't want to deal with it, then that's when I always get slapped with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. And I'm sitting over here being like, I'm not even a criminal, y'all. I actually am a law-abiding citizen. I just have a slick tongue. Come on over here, buddy. Come on over here, buddy. Let's talk, is what the boys say. And I say, hey, man, I would love to, but we're not there right now. I don't know you, and I also have things to do. Yeah, I understand that, buddy. But basically, we just got a report that basically what you can't do is have a rave. You can't have a rave, especially in the community room of the apartment. Okay, so that's automatically a fine. So come on over and let's talk about it. And I'm like, hey, man, I understand. I get it. Call me tomorrow and we can like really talk about it. And that's when I always get hit with the handcuffs and the headlock. Oh, the boys hate me, as they should. Because there's an inconsistency. Are you holier than thou? Okay, let me ask this question. Are you high? Okay, let me ask this question. When's the last time you got high? Oh, I have brushed up against the law in Vegas and Minneapolis and Texas and New Mexico and the Cayman Islands and Greece and Germany and Canada and just and it's all the same, y'all. The law is human. We do need to obey it. But when it's time for that altercation, let's really talk about who's right and who's wrong. When I was in college, I dropped out. There was just too much going on. I was in a relationship with one of the most beautiful women I've ever met or set eyes upon. She was a dancer. All the football players liked her. And so did the alphas, kappas, and omegas. Now, I was told the other day that apparently I'm an alpha by the Maven. The Maven told me that. But I don't think she was talking about the fraternity. Does that make sense? So I dropped out. It was just a hard time. My first girlfriend was amazing, but she was also pretty batshit in college. She's a weapons psychologist now. And I think about this sometimes. I'm like, did I do that to her? But anyways, she was stressing me out. I was working at this Sicilian restaurant, and the owner's daughter had the most beautiful name. Her name was Grace. I kind of liked Grace. I think Grace liked me back. And really and truly, we both needed things from each other. Like, she needed some male attention and I needed some money. So let's negotiate. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was all of this was going on. The classes started getting into it. It was junior year. I was like, I'm leaving. I'm not a college boy. I can't do this. And I went down to Nashville because of some connections that I had earlier in my college career. I was able to go down and work for a great label run by Sicilians. Get into the gag of dropping out of college to go and work for the mafia, steal registers, and carry Glocks. I was in another element. I went down there, and his name was Nicky D. He was the brother of Sonny Paradise. They ran the label, and I loved working down there. It was a lot of fun until it wasn't. No snitching, okay? But Nikki D did have that affair with Christina Aguilera. So Nikki D came over to me one time and was like, we're about to get you to get. You know what? I'm not even going to imitate the accent because I think I'm going to do it injustice, because I feel like I'm going to get very Boston, because it felt like Boston, but it was very much Brooklyn. Like, it was very Brooklyn, y'all. So he's like, we're going to get you together. And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, from here on out, you're only eating the brown spaghetti with the tomato sauce and a salad every day. And I was like, why? And he said, because you're a motherfucking pit bull. I said, what? Nikki D, Nikki D, I don't know what you're talking about. You're a pit bull prop. And I said, but where does the nutritional thing come in with that? And his whole point was, it was time to start going into the gym, getting swole, eating this food and slimming down and becoming like an actual like boxer, like a boxer body. And it was because they needed me to do all the freaking grunt work and break the law. Get in to it. So I says to him, I guess I'll do it. I need you guys to protect me. I really am kind of stressed out already. I've dropped out of college. I miss my girlfriend. I really don't know what's going on. I thought we were producing music. Are we going to talk about that? And he was like, yeah, eventually. But right now, we're about to train you. And they turned me into what I really do think is maybe not the all of my personality, but a big part of it, which is the pit bull. The loose pit bull. We'll get into the stories and the affairs and the strippers and the Percocets and the drugs and the alcohol and the Xanax and all of the ecstasy and the dope SSL board that they had down there. I loved that board. And we'll get into the shotguns being pointed at my head, and we'll talk about all of the criminal type shit. I mean, it gives very Boardwalk Empire. I'm over here being like, damn, that really actually happened to me. But my point was, as I learned about the law, I realized how fragile it actually was. Now, watch when they hear this. Oh, the boys are going to come. Oh, the boys. The boys are going to come and they're going to hang me. And guess what I'm going to say? The same thing I always say. You can get my feet off the ground, but they'll still touch. Do you feel me? The law is a human conception, and I like breaking it, but I'm trying not to do it too much these days because it does add some stress. And I think the boys, as much as we give them flack, we really do have to support them now, because without the law, it could get really ugly. But I wish that they would understand that that's what they're here for. They're not here to distract, dismay, or dick measure. And when you measure your dick against mine, yeah, okay, it might be bigger, but does it still work? I'm sitting over here being like, all right, the law and the citizens need to make peace, because the law is comprised of citizens, and citizens need the law. What a rant that was. Let's get into it.
All I know is This one makes my heart beat. I can't get enough. 'Cause this one makes my heart beat. I'm so in love.
So for the next episode, episode 13, hopefully we can get these on YouTube. It might not happen, but regardless, more people are listening and giving some feedback and understanding, which is so exciting to me. Pay attention to the law, but don't let it stress you out. Okay, bye.
And I know I'm about to vibe with her. Only I can be the one to go with life through ecstasy. This one makes my heart beat. I can't get enough. 'Cause this one makes my heart beat. I'm so in love. This one makes my heart beat.